see what overtime felt like. We haven't had one. We're keeping it interesting. I think that's kind of who we are right now. We just fight and scrap, and we're not perfect, and got a lot of growing to do, but we are resilient, and we know how to win on the road. We're 5-0 on the road, so we won our first overtime game, and there's a lot to improve on, as always, and that's what we'll do. So that's about it.
What has to change over the next 4 weeks to get you guys out of these situations a little
You
easier?
mean winning? Well, we're 6-2. So I hope nothing changes. I hope we keep winning. Because winning is the objective in competitive sports, and we've won. Now, we'll go back and evaluate everything and continue to get better. But, boy, I hope nothing changes in terms of the result, because I like winning.
Seems like you guys have had some issues kind of putting your foot on the gas pedal and putting teams away.
Yeah, we're young. Yeah, we're learning. We're a young team. Like I told you guys last week, we got 6 seniors, 6 scholarship seniors. We're learning how to do things the right way. And it's not always going to be a smooth ride. But we're winning. We're 6-2. And with this group, that's great. 5-0 on the road. I'll take that.
Going by records, you're going to face a lot stiffer competition from here on out. though.
Great. We'll rise up to it like we always do.
You talk about the decision on that 4th down play.
Yeah, I thought we could make it. Number one, it was a yard. We've been pretty good at that with that group. Number two, if you go up 6, touchdown beat you. If you're up 3, a touchdown beat you. It was about a 38-yarder, right hash into the wind. And so I felt like the right thing to do was go for it right there, and unfortunately we didn't get it.
What do you guys need to do to kind of limit the penalties more?
I'm not going to talk about penalties. I think that there's things that people need to do with regards to penalties, but I'm not going to comment on penalties. I mean, that's a joke.
Can you talk about Brett's performance today?
He was a little off. The ball was sailing on him a little bit. Ran the ball well. I think he ran for over 100 yards, but the throws, he wasn't as crisp as he's been.
What was Colorado's offense? They started out kind of slow. I think they got three.
Well, I think we started out playing really well on defense, and then they got the run going a little bit, and that helped them. We were getting after this quarterback, but he hung in there. He's very resilient, and he made some plays down the field.
Was there any adjustments they made in particular that got them going? Or?
Just ran the ball a little bit better.
With Brett missing some of those deep throws early on, was that maybe the wind and the altitude a little bit, or was he just missing?
I hate to say that. The ball was sailing. You can't blame the wind. It's certainly when the altitude. Altitude doesn't matter when you're throwing the ball. He just wasn't as sharp as he normally is.
How about Paul Perkins' performance in that first run?
That was nice. 90 was hoping he could make it. He was chugging, and they couldn't catch him. And I think he ended up with 180 yards rushing, and I don't know if that pushes him. I don't know where he's at. He's getting closer to 1,000, but yeah, he's having a good year.
When he's running for 182 yards, third, fourth quarter, I mean, he looks like a workhorse, obviously, but do you have to manage him some and get him some time off?
Yeah, because he's not the biggest guy in the world, I mean, he's not a 230-pound back, so the hits take a little bit of a toll on him at times. So, that's why it's good that we can get Jordan James in there and get Nate Starks in there.
So, Coach, for whatever reason, maybe you can explain, Colorado was able to move the ball well in the 4th quarter and then really lacked any imagination or any capacity to do the same in overtime. What was going on that you could see that they were able to do and then couldn't do?
They ran the ball well in the 4th quarter. The quarterback made some throws. I'm not going to comment on their imagination. I mean, they were just calling plays. We were just making plays. We just played better.
Did you see a difference in how they're playing?
No, they were calling the same plays and same strategy. Nothing changed with regards to that. They were sticking with what had worked for them, and our guys just, made plays.
And then for you, going into overtime, as they drove down to tie it, which, you seem to have had control of the game, what do you tell your team and that was able to get them to perform to the level to win?
It was our first overtime game in 2.5 years, and we practice overtime. And people think that's silly at times because really it's just red zone offense and red zone defense. But we try to put ourselves in those situations where there's some pressure. I mean, the whole game's pressure, but there's a little added pressure. And I just felt like we would respond. We're that kind of group. When our backs have been up against the walls in a game, it's been tight at the end, we found a way to win it, except for once, and that was the Utah game when we had a shot and didn't get it done.
Is the message after a game like that more just about the resilience and keeping that up, or is it more about, or do you tell them, we can't blow the lead like we did?
It's both, but we won. So you always have to, it's hard. You know what I mean? Like, you go back and forth, you vacillate in your message, which I don't necessarily like to do because you just won a game. You're 5-0. You won on the road in the Pac-12. You know, it's never going to be easy. Now, we started out fast, and then they came back, and we had to win it in overtime. So you're proud of the resilience, but you're always going to search for, whether you win or you lose, whether you play great or you play poorly, you're always searching for ways to get better. That never changes, you know. So your message has to reflect that type of attitude, that type of culture.
What's a team need to do to close a team out when you get them down that quick?
Here's what I told the team, Chris, because I can tell you're on the kick, so I'm going to give it to you, because you're sitting up there, is we have to find a way, okay, when we get a team, you know, where we feel like we've got them, to not, I feel like at times we take a little exhale instead of doing that. And I think that has a lot to do with, and I'm not using this as an excuse, this is just what I believe, our youth at times, you know, feeling like, I think that the three worst words you can use is I got it, or I got them, you know, or we got it. And I think at times we fall into that trap. And so the message was to them was, love the resilience, love the win, but we've got to move past that. We've got to move past that part of our deal, and we will. We will. We're going to do it. We're doing it. As long as we can compile wins or pile up wins while we're learning how to do that, that's a good thing. So,
Where does the offensive line come from the beginning of the season now with Connor McDermott? They've put together 2 good games in a row.
I think that Connor going in, and then, you know, Scotty Quisenberry is kind of a guy that's really made a jump. Malcolm Bunch moving into guard, feeling some pressure behind him with Alex Redmond, who's now ready to go but didn't play tonight. You know, Simon Goins being back, putting some pressure on the tackles. I think it's a really competitive group right now. I think they're playing very well. I think Brett had pretty good protection today. I think we ran the ball very well. They seem solid. A couple false starts that we need to knock out. We'll see about the holds. You know, we never get holding calls on our defensive line. I've never seen anything like it, but I guess that's just the way it goes. So, but I want to just see them getting better. And I think you're right. Connor has a lot to do with it. He's very solid on that left side. Very athletic.
I'm sorry, Coach, to the previous question, what did you mean move past our deal, I guess?
I was just looking for a word. Our deal, like Chris asked, like why, he said, why can't you, what's stopping you from putting people away when you get a lead? And that's what I mean. That's our deal,
Just
is letting people back in.
Oh, your deal is not putting
Well, I was
away.
just looking for a word.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
have a word.
I
I just say stuff and then he just puts what he wants in the paper. So.
It's in my job description.
more, guys.
Is it frustrating when, you know, youth seems like that main issue, and it's not like you can make them grow up any faster? It's
But
just-
this helps them grow up. You know what I mean? And look, I'm not going to give them the out of youth. I just am telling you there's a reason, okay? It can't be an excuse or an out or, oh, hey, we're just young. You never say that to them. But I think games like this, and I've said this a lot, you guys have heard it a gazillion times this year, I just keep saying it like a broken record, it helps you down the road because they believe they can win the close one. They know how to win the close one, whether it's at home or on the road, whether it's a great team or a team they should just crush, you know. Nobody in there is like, they didn't come in there jubilant, you know. Oh my God, what, you know. They understand what we need to do, the issues. They understand about taking ownership of their responsibilities, as we all do. I'm talking about players and coaches, and we're going to do that, you know. We're going to absolutely do that. I like where we're at in terms of our record. I mean, certainly I'd love to be undefeated, but, you know, we're a resilient crew and fix some things up and see how it ends up.
Is the team playing younger than maybe you expected before the season?
No, not me. You know, I think that I knew going in how youthful this team was, and but we got to push past that. It's time. You know, it's 8 games in. I don't want to use that. I'm not gonna. I'm giving you a reason. I'm not giving you an excuse. Okay, but we got to push past it.
Coach, you
Thanks,
kind
guys.
of alluded to how important this game was. How big a win was this?
Every win is huge. You know, every win. No matter how you get it, they're huge. Wins are hard to come by. You know, and it's big. I mean, we're keeping ourselves alive, and that's the key. So, all right.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.